Hey, this is Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP-TV studio, AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by uppercutchops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Angus and Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, and of course the king of all those gigantic cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Best I've ever had, probably be the best you ever have as well. Check them out at uppercutchops.com. That's uppercutchops.com, or give them a call, find out what's for dinner, 714-948-0100, 714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100 for uppercutchops.com. All right, a big welcome in everybody listening in on our CBS NBC and Fox Sports affiliates and independent from coast to coast. Everybody watching on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceana, Time Warner, Spectrum, Wild, Charter, CBS, NBC Digital, and independent affiliates in select markets. Thanks for joining us, as well as Hotel TV where applicable, same, and Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Check out Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Talk about your favorite foods, restaurants, recipes, make some friends, have some fun. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. By the way, in case you're wondering, we think about facial hair on athletes and whatnot. And some people say, well, it's superstition. Some people say it's stuperstition. And you have this ongoing epidemic of exceeding amounts of hair on faces. And I don't understand it. And it's not just for athletes. Although people that wear those blasted goatees, they either, as I see it, and I've seen this since the 1990s, it gives you an idea how old I am. Look, first of all, there's no exact percentage of athletes that actually wear these blasted goatees. So it's like a circle around the mouth, and it's really funny looking. If you look at it, you're like, what in the world? I mean, is it supposed to be a mustache? Is it supposed to be a beard? It's supposed to be something in between. I don't really know, but it turns out to be some kind of a stupid looking circle around the mouth. And people say, well, athletes have that, and tough guys have that, boxers have that, and yeah, well, so do a lot of people. And what's interesting about it, in my perspective, is that people grow them, of course, for different reasons, and they are what they are. But a lot of people back in the 1990s, they had those. The early 1990s, maybe 1990, 91, 92, that kind of time. And I mean, look, if you look on your favorite search engine that rhymes with noodle, they'll say a past survey on facial hair found that 81% of players way back in the day have some kind of facial hair, and 13% of them actually had mustaches. But that blasted circle around the mouth were even less common. And that is a breakdown by Yahoo Sports showed the San Francisco 49ers once had the highest share of goatees at 36%, but not anymore. No. As a matter of fact, the NBA, less than 10% of the players actually have them, which, good for them. And of course, they even say it was popular back in the 1990s. And let's face it, there are multiple sources on this, whether it's The Score, Odyssey Online, Detroit Grooming Company. I mean, that's one of my not favorite ones, but who cares? And baseball players have a very small amount going back in the day too. And it's interesting because some people think that, oh, it's cool to have this thing. And I'm not really sure if I'm not really sure how people got to the idea that it was cool. I mean, look, athletes grow facial hair for style, superstition, and brand identity, right? We see that a lot. Pick your favorite sport, doesn't really matter. And of course, some legends use it as a physical shield against cuts or turf burns. And I think of beards, for example. Beards, I think of the guys like James Harden. He has the beard that's weird. And so it was the first real long beard that people were seeing in sports. And we'll just call that a decade ago. And he had that real big, bushy, goofy looking beard thing. And I think he still sports it today. But I guess my point is a lot of athletes grow them for superstition or whatnot. Now, there is a science and function behind the athletes with it. And the science behind it says a heavy beard acts like a bumper and it protects the chin from cuts and frictions from gear. So, for example, we think of football gear, right? Think of the helmets for football and even in hockey, right? And of course, for combat sports, science shows that a beard can make an athlete look more dominant and physically intimidating, but it does not change their actual fighting ability, in case you're keeping score. And that goes for you wannabe tough guys out there that are growing facial hair because you think, even though you may be wimpy, you think it makes you look more intimidating, but I got to tell you, it doesn't. It doesn't. Body language is everything. Facial hair is absolutely nothing. Some people have it in their eyes. I've been told by people, you've got crazy eyes. Well, look, I can handle myself. Hand-to-hand combat, I'm okay with that. I'm actually real good at that. But at the end of the day, I don't have the facial hair and whatnot. And even if I had some kind of a circle around my mouth or a beard or whatever, it's not going to make me more intimidating. The look is just a matter of opinion. And at the end of the day, folks, it's not this cool thing that people think. I mean, look, in hockey, there is the proverbial playoff beard. Now, that's different. That's a real thing. That is a team tradition. That actually is a league-wide tradition. Players refuse to shave during the postseason until their team wins the championship or is eliminated. I mean, look, that superstition goes back nearly 50 years, and that started back with the New York Islanders. Now, remember, the New York Islanders, in case you're not a hockey fan, they won 4 Stanley Cups in a row. They were really, and I mean really good back in the day. Then after the Islanders went after their run, then it was the Edmonton Oilers with their run with Wayne Gretzky and company. However, the playoff hockey superstition don't shave thing, it's a real thing. I get that. And it's not like they're trimming or nothing. No. They're just letting it go and it just grows wildly. And some people it looks funnier than others. Some people they just can't seem to grow facial hair. But those that grow a lot of it, I mean, it looks funny because it almost looks like they're not going to be able to fit their helmets on their heads because there's just so much going on. But now there are league rules, though, in case you don't know. In some cases, for example, in baseball, the New York Yankees, they still require all players to be clean shaven except for neat mustaches. And a nice round of applause for the New York Yankees. I like that. And, there are other teams that they just don't give a damn. You could go ahead and you could look like not only did you just roll out of bed, you could look like you just rolled out of the gutter. And I'm not talking about the bowling gutter. I'm talking about the depths of homelessness and whatnot on pick your favorite major city. We'll just take Los Angeles, San Francisco, which seems to be the king and queen, if you know what I mean, of the homeless world, right? And that's that blue state. What do you expect when you have Newsom as your governor? I mean, you don't think anything's going to run smooth and all the normal people are going to pay for all the, I guess that's what happens in the socialist economy. But nonetheless, the point is, all of those facial hair people, look, they have a look, and some people it's distinguishing. I mean, we go back to the mustaches back in the day, and I remember when I was a kid, I always thought of certain players, they had that look. And one of the guys that looked like if you opened up the dictionary to the word baseball, you would see a picture of Bobby Grich. And Bobby Grich had this mustache that just, and Don Mattingly had it in the next decade. They just looked like baseball. That's what you would expect baseball to look like. It wasn't a circle around the mouth, wasn't a big beard. No, it was just that mustache, like the cop mustache, if you know what I mean. And so when you look at certain players, like Al Raboski had that, the Mad Hungarian, is back in the 1970s. And this guy played for the Kansas City Royals. And he played for the St. Louis Cardinals, if I'm not mistaken. In any event, Al Raboski had that mustache. And people, the batters did not feel comfortable up against it because he had this whole act. And he would walk off the back end of the hill of the pitcher's mound and look like he's talking to himself. And then to psych himself up, this is back when they didn't have a pitch clock, he would slam the ball, take the ball in his hand, slam the ball into his glove, turn around like he was a mad scientist or whatever the heck it was, like he was mad at the world, and he would get back, put his foot back on the pitching rubber and throw the ball in and probably try to strike out the world. But a lot of hitters were intimidated by that look. And that was back, 50 plus years ago. In today's time, now you've got these alleged tough guys that are wearing circles around their mouths and beards that, well, frankly, they're really big and they're absolutely out of control. Back here in a few minutes with more Beard That's Weird conversation and stuff like that in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average and best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Ignite. We're ready for the fight. Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Thank you, Roy, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment brought to you in part by your friends at the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, csncoyotes.com. Check them out, folks. All right, welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS NBC Fox Sports affiliate from Independence from coast to coast, including our friends down in Atlanta, waking up with us 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, WDJY 99.1 FM. Right down the road, Columbus, Georgia, Montgomery, Alabama, in between, where that antenna is over in Auburn, and that's War Eagle, our friends WAUD. That is 1230 on the AM dial, home of the Atlanta Braves. Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Thanks for joining us there. Up and down the Midwest, out to the West Coast, everybody driving between sunny Southern California and fabulous Las Vegas, listening in along Highway Interstate 15 on 94.9 FM and 96.9 FM KNAC Pure Rock, the legendary KNAC Pure Rock. Check them out, folks. Up and down the Midwest, actually up to the West Coast, out to our friends in Anchorage, all the way down to our friends listening in CBS Sports 1500 KHKA over in Honolulu. That's home of the New York Yankees, the 49ers, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. And, of course, everybody watching on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Tidewater, Spectrum, Wild Charter, CBS, NBC Digital, and independent affiliates in select markets. Thanks for joining us. Also, everybody streaming that's listening into our recorded shows as well. If you're playing this show, again, you're listening on either Apple, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, iHeart, Stitcher, Deezer, Libsyn, or one of the others out there, or even, of course, on the Mars rover. You never know. Anyway, thanks for joining us everywhere, plus Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Again, check that group out, folks. Chicago Food Favorites, fun group, talk about your favorite foods, restaurants, recipes, make some friends. In fact, that's for all you flat earthers out there in all four corners of the world. That's right. Make some friends, have some fun. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Check that group out. Okay, now back to this facial hair stuff. And I'm not a proponent of facial hair. I'm just not my thing. I don't have a goatee. I don't have that silly circle around my mouth. I don't think I'm a tough guy. A lot of guys that aren't even athletes, they grow this facial hair and they think for some strange reason that they're either A, an athlete, or B, some kind of a tough guy. Well, guess what? You're neither of the two. So in case you're wondering, get over it. That's not how it works. Both of those have to be earned. And when I say tough guy, I'm not talking about you're going to just go kick everyone's ass. What I'm talking about is it's your attitude. It's the way you carry yourself. It's the way that people view you, but it's the way that you can respond if somebody pushes your buttons, if you know what I'm saying. Because at some point, somebody's going to say, okay, put up or shut up. It's one of those things. We go back to the Brady Bunch. Way, way, way back in the time machine, back to the 1970s, and it was Peter Brady and him defending his sister, Cindy Brady, and Buddy Hinton didn't like the way that Peter Brady's sister, Cindy, was talking. Baby talk, baby talk. It's a wonder you can walk. I don't know if you remember that episode, but I sure do. And it was Buddy Hinton beating up Peter Brady, and Peter Brady had to learn how to fight. And what was interesting is way back in the day, we settled things outside on the playground after school. I'll see you after school. That kind of stuff. And back then, nobody had circles around their mouth. Nobody had all that stuff. They weren't trying to intimidate. They used their hands to intimidate. And let's face it, put up or shut up. In fact, that's even what Buddy Hinton said. But Peter Brady learned how to fight. And that's right. He learned how to fight. And you know what happened? Peter Brady landed a left, and that was the end of the Buddy Hinton issue with Cindy Brady. That's right, applause for Peter Brady from the Brady Bunch. And I'm going way back there because I love that stuff. That's in every episode. 10, 15, 20 times. I don't know. But one of these days we'll have to see if we get Peter Brady or Greg Brady or whatnot, one of them on the program just because we can. That's all good stuff, folks. All right. Anyway, back to this tough guy thing. So, yeah, in sports, again, in hockey, they have the playoff beards, right? And they let them grow. It's the superstition. They let them grow till they either win the championship, they win the Stanley Cup, or they're eliminated from the playoffs. And remember, the New York Yankees say, look, we're not going to allow you to have facial hair. And in fact, just recently, well, I wouldn't say recently, but it was a little bit more mainstream for the Yankees to allow a clean-shaven person to have a very neat and groomed mustache. And that's it. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, look, other teams encourage, they believe it or not, they actually encourage big beards just because of marketing. I think of big beards, and I think of, what's his name? I think of James Harden in the NBA. He was really the first guy with the big, bushy, crazy beard. In baseball, a lot of players have done it. Hockey, a lot of players have done it. But then in baseball, I think the big beard, just like James Harden in basketball, would probably be Brandon Marsh. And what's interesting is Brandon Marsh was a high draft pick. And he was a high draft pick for the Angels. And for some reason, he just couldn't get it together. And it could have been the ownership of Artie Moreno. I don't know. I mean, it seems, in my opinion, Artie Moreno is easily the worst owner in Major League Baseball. It just seems like players don't want to play for him. Whatever it is, I don't know. Anyway, but Marsh got kind of lost in the system. They have a good system. They have a lot of good players that come out of there, but they seem to migrate to other teams. That's the crazy part about it, on the large amount. And so you think of a guy like Brandon Marsh. It's like he got lost in the shuffle over there. It's like, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to grow a beard. Well, it wasn't really working for him in Anaheim, but then when he went to Philadelphia, it's kind of like he found himself. I don't know what it is. Change of scenery. I don't really think it was the beard was growing longer. I think change of scenery is everything. And a lot of the times when you see those athletes that are doing crazy things, they're dyeing their hair, 12 different colors or whatever, it seems like they have an identity issue somewhere. Or they have some other personal issue that they're trying to get past. And I always see this with ink, and we're going to get to ink in a little bit. But it just seems to me that whenever you see these facial hairs grow out, whatever it is, to whatever length it is, it seems like that particular party is looking to either A, differentiate themselves from everybody else. They're trying to stand out in a crowd because they're blending in and they're trying to create some individualistic something or another. That's how I see the facial hair, the hair in sports. Now, in everyday life, look, folks, I'm going to give you something here from Business Insider. Now, this is from Business Insider. It's not from me. It's written by Lynette Lopez. She says, are you ready for this? Because I'm not a proponent of these blasted goatees. She says, facial hair in all its forms, beards, mustaches, etc., been coming back with a vengeance for years now. But it's about time we address one form of this trend that is an absolute no-no. And she says, the goatee. If you have one, according to her, she says, shave it off. Do it today. She continues on with, your goatee says, quote, I just time traveled here from an Orlando sales conference sometime in 1991, and I'm here to party to the sweet sounds of Kid Rock and Creed in my sleeveless t-shirt and cargo shorts, close quote. Yeah, that's what she says. I don't think she's far from the truth either. So she goes on with, maybe that's not what you see when you look in the mirror, but that's what your goatee is saying. Trust us. You don't have to take our word for it. We talked to the stylist, Jessica Cadmus, founder of the Wardrobe Whisperer, a firm that specializes in dressing professionals, especially on Wall Street. That's what she said as well. So in case you think it's cool, that comes right from Business Insider. Maybe you're a business executive or a mid-level manager trying to make the next step. She says on Business Insider, get rid of it. You don't want it. Nobody wants to see it. As a matter of fact, the percentage, well, actually, I don't want to get to that one just yet. Let's go back to this. I want to stick with this goatee here for just a second here. Look, They often carry a bad reputation, and that also, again, according to Business Insider, they carry a bad reputation. That's not good. And of course, they can look patchy. Sometimes people grow them only because they cannot grow hair on their cheeks. Imagine that. Who the hell wants to grow hair on their cheeks? I guess if you want a beard, I suppose. But it looks like an incomplete patch of hair. Pretty funny stuff. And again, that's Business Insider. That's also, well, pick your favorite source. It's out there, folks. Anyway, they also say they take the wrong face shape. A goatee makes round faces look rounder and long faces look longer. They have a bad guy image. Pop culture often gives goatees to villains, and this links them to sneaky and untrustworthy characters. That's right. Again, according to Business Insider. So if you think you're being cool with one, forget it. Just remember, clean shaven is preferred, and that is according to the same people that wrote this. So women generally prefer a clean shaven face, gentlemen, over a goatee on top of it, just in case you're keeping score. And believe me, it's not cool. I mean, look, some people say they're not inherently ugly, but they are highly polarizing. Yes, that's right. They don't look cool. They're not cool. If you think they're cool, they're not cool. And matter of fact, when I come back, I'll tell you exactly, allegedly, what those blasted goatees say about people, according to all kinds of sources. Don't go anywhere, lots more to come here on the Sports Circus. Back in a few. Shave on commercial break.
I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it on here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day. I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it on here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP studio, AAMP television. Folks, make sure to check out thesportscircus.com for upcoming guests, our prior guests, our recorded shows, which could be found on Apple, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, iHeart, Stitcher, Dizzard, Libsyn, and a whole bunch of others. Also, check out the partners page. Lots of great partners. In fact, at the top of the show, you heard an announcement from Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult. That's right. The singer and lead guitarist of legendary multi-platinum band Blue Oyster Cult. Check him out at thesportscircus.com's partners page. The logo is right there. Click on the Blue Oyster Cult logo. It'll take you right over to blueoystercult.com, right over to the tour page. Pick up some tour tickets. I got to tell you, folks, their shows are incredible. No fix at the mix, no auto-tune, no backing tracks, none of that crap. They put it out there like they have been since 1972, if I'm not mistaken. Guess what, folks? They're really that good. They sound incredible, and none of it is doctored. None of it's whatever. It's all good stuff. Those are our friends. Good stuff. Great music. Legendary music. Blue Oyster Cult. Check them out at blueoystercult.com or on the partners page of the Sports Circus. All right. Big round of applause for Buck Dharma and the gang. All right, welcome back to everybody on TV and radio, everybody streaming, everybody on Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Thanks for joining us over there in that group. Talking about facial hair and these blasted goatees. And look, guys, if you have one, Business Insider says get rid of it today. Shave it. A, it's not cool. B, it doesn't look very businesslike. And it's rather unbecoming. As a matter of fact, there are many sources, and I've got, 3, 4 of them right here, that state that a goatee generally communicates nonconformity, rebellion, and the connected goatee, of course, says, well, it's an all business look, but the reality is it's not very trustworthy looking. It's kind of like back in the day, people used to say, well, geez, you have a mustache, you're hiding behind a mustache. Well, now you're hiding behind a mustache and some crazy hair that runs along your chin line too. So that only, as I see it, it makes it worse. And it doesn't say that you're highly confident or trend conscious. Maybe it says you're trend conscious, but it doesn't say anything, in my opinion, really good. And frankly, as I look at it, from the hiring standpoint, I've hired my share of people. And I will tell you what, I would always shy away from those goatee types, not because they weren't qualified, but in my opinion, it wasn't very businesslike for the same reason the New York Yankees did not want facial hair on their players. The same exact reason. And I figured, look, it wasn't professional looking, and I don't want somebody that's not professional looking. It's like being all tatted up, and I'll get to that in just a minute. I don't care whether it's the circle mouth or whether it's a disconnected one, whatever. Look, the disconnected goatee often indicates, according to multiple sources, that a man has trouble growing a full beard and can come across as slightly unstylish. Well, frankly, they all seem to send that same message, in my opinion. And Business Insider absolutely supports that by saying, if you have it, get rid of it because it doesn't look good at all. So don't try to look at it. Just be yourself. Get out there and do what you're doing. And in case you think that, gentlemen, if you think that women like it, well, guess what? Many women, according to multiple sources, once again, we've got lots of sources. Pick your favorite source, from Reddit to whatnot. Look, the reality is this. Many women strongly dislike them. In case you don't know, many women find goatees, especially those without connecting mustache, tacky and outdated. And they dislike the often stems that feel during, when they're getting kind of close and whatever. They're saying, it feels spiky and rough and scratchy and all this other crap. And many women, according to, again, multiple sources, pick your favorite ones, folks, whether it's Medium or whatnot, they all say generally speaking, women prefer a clean-shaven face, period. And if you have to have some kind of facial hair, have the full masculine beard, not this half a circle around a mouth, ridiculous looking thing that somehow kind of resembles facial hair but doesn't. I mean, it's really ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And let's face it. I mean, many goatees, as you look at them, they seem to be inherently unprofessional. It's perceived as, well, less acceptable. And it seems as a confrontational sort of a person. It's kind of like the stereotype. So when you're walking up for that first meeting and you have that look, it's the idea that, look, it looks like you're hiding behind something. And that is the general perception that you can really look at it. And here's what's worse. For everybody, we think about the religious side, where not everybody is that, but I'll tell you this much. I'll throw this one out there. Way back in the day, the god Pan was traditionally depicted with a goatee-like feature. And so when Christianity became the dominant religion and began copying imagery from pagan myth, Satan was given the likeness of Pan, leading to Satan traditionally did what? Traditionally being depicted with a goatee. That's right, folks. In case you don't know, that's right, I didn't make that up. I couldn't possibly make this stuff up. I could, but I would never do that. But I'm just saying, folks, it's not a cool thing. And frankly, in my opinion, it's never been cool. If you want to be cool, just be a good person. You don't have to wear a certain something. You don't have to wear your hair a certain way. It doesn't make you a better athlete because eventually you have to perform. And I can assure you, all the guys that I played baseball with, the guys that I know that are currently playing, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, hockey, whatever, it doesn't make them a better athlete. And because you look a particular way, it doesn't make you look like an athlete, in case you're wondering. And it doesn't make you look like a serious business person either. In fact, I believe it's more of a deterrent. So if you have one of these things, just like what Business Insider says, shave it, get rid of it. It's unsightly. It's not cool. It's not stylish. And frankly, it's really ridiculous looking in the grand scheme of things. Walking around with a circle around your mouth is a whole different thing. All right, now let's go to the other side of this. Now you think of everybody all these people that are inked up. It's the same idea, but it's a different discussion. Now, you could look at multiple sources. Again, whether it's Skin Graphica or the Conversation or whatever. There's so Science Direct, whatnot, the National Institute of Health. There's so many bits on tattoos and the whole ink idea. Look, the percentage of athletes with tattoos varies by sport. In the NBA, over half of the players have visible tattoos. In global soccer, about 36% of the players have visible ink. Well, another thing about those soccer players too, well, it seems like quite a few of them wear sports bras. I'm talking the male players. And you can read about that. That one's out there. They say, oh, well, it's for analytics and stuff like that. Really? That's another discussion for yet another time. I think they're pushing a particular transgender type of agenda, but who the hell knows? I don't know. But yeah, so 36% of soccer players have visible ink. By comparison, only 32% of all American adults have at least one. So some people say, well, hey, tattoos are pictures or words or designs put on bodies, whatever. But look, end of day, they're with needles and ink. That's what you really got to think about. Needles and ink. Now back to basketball. 55 to 70% of players actually have them. And of course, well, many players like to tell stories about their life and family with their large arms and back pieces, which to me, so be it. I mean, to each his own. But why would you want to have your life story on your arm or your legs or whatever the hell it is? I really don't understand that. Now, when you look at soccer players, 36% of professional soccer players have these, and the number changes based on where the players are from. For example, players from South America often have more than players from Europe, whatever. In the NFL, Research on these tats, of course, shows that a large number of players actually have it. But the exact percentage is not known just yet. And there are all kinds of stats you could find on it. And look, it's not like we're looking at golf and tennis, and we're looking at those. But there are issues with the whole tattoo world. And I mean, look, there are health issues. And we're going to get into that, in fact, in the next segment. Look, not many people feel that tattoos are cool. I'm one of those people. I don't care. If I wasn't born with it, I'm not supposed to have it, just like piercings. If I wasn't born with it, I'm not supposed to have it. Tell you what, listen to the Sports Circus National Anthem by Joey That Guy. Back here in a few minutes on The Circus. Lots more to come, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Step right up! The show is about to start! With a heart of fire and a restless heart. Under the big top, where the wild ones reign, Ringmaster Sal, the master of the insane. With a smile painted fierce, he runs the whole game. Loudspeaker voice, calling out all the names. Lions roar and the audience calls. Sal's up there, making sure no one falls. With a crack of the whip, he owns the floor. Life's a circus, baby, and he's wanting more. Hey, 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 this is Ringmaster Sal, bringing the thunder, raising the crowd. In the heart of the circus, he's taking the bow. Sports in the wild and mixing right now. Hey, 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 feel the roar of the crowd with the heartbeat of rock. He's making us proud under the lights with the fireworks and sound. Ringmaster Sal, he's the king of this town. Acrobats spinning, they're flying so high. Trapeze in the air, he's grinning up to the sky. Glitter and sweat running through his veins. A juggler of dreams where thrill never wanes. From the roar of the game to the thrill of the show, he's got the spirit, he's the star of the glow. With athletes collide and the passions collide. In the ring with Sal, there's nowhere to hide. Hey, 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 this is Ringmaster Sal, bringing the thunder, raising the crowd. In the heart of the circus, he's taking a bow. Sports in the wild, they're mixing right now. Yeah, hey, hey, feel the roar of the crowd with the heartbeat of rock. He's making us proud under the lights with the fireworks and sound. Ringmaster Sal, he's the king of this town. So step right up for the ride of your life with Ringmaster Sal, cutting through like a knife. Together we rise and together we fall in the wild, wild circus where we give it our all.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP television. Folks, make sure to check out the store at thesportscircus.com. Lots of great items, hats, hoodies, t-shirts, ball caps, beanie hats, sweatpants, sweat coats. What else do we have? We have travel mugs, we have coffee mugs, pillows, and mouse pads, and all kinds of great items with the clever Sports Circus logo on them. That's the store at thesportscircus.com. Make sure you check it out. Mention Ringmaster Sal for an extra 10% off your first order. All right. Yes! And welcome back, everybody, on our CBS NBC Sports Circus, coast to coast. Everybody in select markets on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, Walt Charter, CBS, NBC Digital, and independent affiliates, as well as hotel TV in about 500,000 rooms from coast to coast in those upscale hotel and resort rooms. Really nice stuff, folks. And that is in all Nielsen rated markets, again, where applicable, when we're actually on air there, as well as all those people listening in on Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook and all of our streamers, Apple, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, iHeart, Stitcher, Deezer, Libsyn, and all others as well. Boy, that's a big mouthful. Let me tell you something, folks. I have said that thousands of times. That's right, thousands of times. So I don't have any of this stuff written down. I just say it because I say it every day, multiple times a day. And let's face it, there are thousands of shows of the Sports Circus you can listen to. If you want to go on a binge for several months, 24 hours a day, you can listen to this show. You know, people have those, I guess they'll go, well, I want to listen to season 1 or season 2 or season 10 or whatever. I've never actually put this into seasons, but I guess if that's the case, every year, think about this, out of the thousands of shows, I would probably have, well, I would imagine at least 100 seasons of the Sports Circus, because you figure for a decade or so we've been on, well, and you're going to get, 10 seasons per year? And I say that because, well, per year there's certainly over, 200 business days in a year. As a matter of fact, I don't even know how many business days exactly. Let's see, how many business days in a year? So technically there's 249 to 250 business days a year, Monday through Friday is what I'm after here. And in some cases, of course, in certain markets, we're on 6 days a week and 7 days a week, just depends on when they're playing them. And so you have to realize that this show has been on for a very, very long time. And what we do have is the ability to, I guess, break it up into seasons, which we really haven't. But maybe you want to listen to months and months and months of the Sports Circus nonstop, and you don't want to sleep. And if that's the case, and if that's really what you're after, hey, listen, folks, we've got the remedy. All right, back here talking about ink. We already had that conversation on goatees. So if you think you're a tough guy, you think you're an athlete, you think you're a business guy because you have that goatee, according to Business Insider, they said, shave it! Well, and I say the same thing. Be trustworthy, be clean. And frankly, according to the same sources, it appears that women prefer clean-shaven guys over the goatee on top of it. All right. Gotta like that. All right. Now back with this ink situation. And look, there are pluses and minuses for people's attitude towards it. There are a whole lot of viewpoints on the whole tattoo thing in the first place. And many people feel that tattoos aren't cool. They're no longer cool. No. As a matter of fact, the clean look, many people now prefer minimalist, bare skin. Some choose clean skin. And really, it's kind of to signal simple living. And look, frankly, according to all sources, even the people that I know that are all inked up, they even say tattoos hurt. And they're also very expensive to get them. And guess what? They're expensive to get them removed. So let's go cost of a tattoo. I don't know because I don't have them. I don't know. But it says right here, tattoos cost anywhere from a few $100 for a small piece, and they can go up to $6,000 or more, depending on the artist and so forth, right? So you have a shop minimum, I guess a couple $100 or whatever to cover some sterilization supplies and whatnot. Then you're paying for the artist's experience, which could be $500 an hour or whatever. Then you have the complexity of the design, which could be something that's really going to drive up your price. And that's even according to Art Collectors Tattoo Studio and Nebo, in case you're wondering where I'm getting the information from. But how they charge is by the piece and an hourly rate. So it's very common this way. And so, for example, right here in Las Vegas, for example, maybe up to $500 an hour just to get these things done. And I don't know how long it takes, but I got to tell you, it sure seems like it would take a long time to get these things. And now you're saying, okay, well, I'm thousands in. And what if you don't like it? Yeah, what if you don't like it? Well, guess what? Just to get them removed, the prices go up and above $4,000. And remember, full removal requires what, 5 to 12 treatments spread over what, several months? And we think of some of these famous people, I'm not going to mention them, but there's this one guy's face is all tatted up, and now he's kind of had that coming to Jesus moment. Now he's trying to get rid of all the ink that you're, well, technically not supposed to have. And so he's trying to show the world he's a changed man. And so what's worse is, let's say you have darker skin. Darker skin needs specific lasers like the ND YAG to prevent skin damage. That's a whole nother discussion. I mean, right here in Las Vegas, per session, just to get these things cleared out, up to $1,250. And that is on removery.com and other sources as well. I mean, look, folks, this is a big deal. So if you think they're cool, first of all, hey, maybe you do. I don't know. I mean, I've seen some that they look okay. I just wouldn't do it. I mean, they're increasingly seen as, well, trashy. Yet some people say, well, it's mainstream art and self-expression. It's really interesting to see really old people like get new tattoos too. I don't know. Just the whole idea of them is just confusing to me. And so you think about where people place them, right? Highly visible. Hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. I got them on the neck, my face, my hands. I got them in places where everybody can see, yeah, they carry some kind of a rebellious edge. Well, I'm tough. I got a tattoo or some crap like that. But they're seriously frowned upon in the business world. If you're a business person, you have a regular white collar type of a job, guess what? People don't like it. You got an office gig, people don't like it. It's not cool. It doesn't matter whether it's symmetrically placed or some crap like that, or real small. Ink is ink is ink. End of day, employers don't like them. If you're an athlete and you're playing professional sports, that's your own prerogative and whatever the team rules are what the team rules. But in the grand scheme of things, people say, well, they have deep personal significance and artistic value to me and whatever. At the end of the day, many feel that they're vulgar, offensive, and trashy and generic flash art. That's really what the masses tend to think, according to all the sources. And you can go ahead and search for this yourself, folks. Look, the general perception, it's just, well, they're not viewed as respectable. They're viewed as unprofessional or lacking class. In case you're keeping score, and even psychologists weigh in on this too. And again, you could pick your favorite psychologist and pick your favorite site. It doesn't matter which one it is. Some people say, well, I have them because it's helping me deal with a trauma or the healing of a trauma or something like that. But let's face it, neuroscience research suggests that individuals with 4 or more tattoos may exhibit a higher pain tolerance, well, because they know what it feels like to get these things, but it's tied to psychological stress. That's the bigger issue. And so it doesn't really say anything great about people, that's for sure. And look, they're generally speaking, according to, pick again your favorite source, tattoos are generally uncool, in case you're keeping score. Just like goatees, they're generally uncool. And the whole idea of rebellion, I'm a tough guy, I've got tattoos, I got a goatee and all that crap. Guess what? You're not, in case you're keeping score. And they say, well, tattoos are so ubiquitous that they're no longer a sign of counterculture because everybody's got them. In case you don't know what that word means, it just means so widespread, right? So they no longer shock people. And some people consider them a lot less cool than what one would imagine. Again, corporate world, don't like them. And it says tattoos on women are not necessarily cool either. In case, ladies, you think getting a sleeve or looking like a comic strip is cool, it's not cool. And in case you're on the religious side of things, just in case, guess what? You weren't born with it. And back to Leviticus 19:28. We go back to God's ban on tattoos, recorded in the ancient Hebrew text as, quote, "Do not incise any marks on yourself," close quote. That's right. Many scholars agree with this command, aimed to prevent Israelites from adopting practice of idol worship and ritualistic mourning common in that region. So look, I gotta tell you, I remember walking into Mass recently, and the guy that was 2 rows in front of me with his family, arm is all tatted up, this, that, and the other. And I wonder, I mean, look, to each his own again, I don't really care. But I wonder, what kind of example do you set for a family? What message are you sending to people? If you're an athlete, who knows? You have a story to tell on your arms or whatever the hell it is. Maybe a football player, basketball player, hockey player. Hockey players, you can't really even see their arms anyway. But baseball player, who knows? The point is, they are trying to sell a story or tell a story, right? It's all salesmanship and telling a story. But if you're just the regular Joe or Josephine, and chances are they were paid to have those tats anyway. If you're a regular Joe or Josephine or whatever, you think you're cool with all your tats. You think you're cool with your circle around your mouth. It's not cool. Again, Business Insider says shave the goatee. Period. It's not professional. And as far as the ink goes, the business world doesn't like tattoos and they don't like goatees. So unless you're an athlete and you're a well-known athlete, whatever, just be clean shaven. Don't ink yourself up. This is my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. I think it looks ridiculous. Look, if you weren't born with it, what's the point of having it? It's kind of like having an extra hole in your head. Why do you have to get an ear pierced? Just be yourself. Don't try to stand out through stuff. Stand out through your efforts, and don't be an ass. We'll see you in 23 hours right here on the Sports Circus. Until then, so long, everyone. And don't go getting another tat, for Christ's sake.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
What are you people? On dope? Why isn't this an awkward moment? Stop it! Stop it!
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. B-E-E-P-I-N autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it out here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.